How y'all doing today? Saturday night. We're about to get ready to watch the big fight tonight, right? Who do you guys got? Who do you guys got winning that fight? Is it gonna go knockout, TKO, the decision? That's what we're looking forward tonight, guys. But right before, I know a lot of y'all right now are out there enjoying the carne asada, having a few drinks. It's Saturday night, well deserved. There's a great fight going on tonight. I hope everybody has an opportunity to take a look at that fight, watch that fight. It's a lot of clout building around it. So we're excited to be watching that tonight. But just before we get to the fight, we wanted to reach out to one of the city council candidates, Mr. Ruben Camarillo, who is running for city council, Eagle Pass, place 1, guys. So I'm sorry, place 3. So I always flip flop the places there, but I'm happy that you guys join us, and we're going to go ahead and bring on Ruben and ask him a few questions, see how the campaign trail has been going for him since we last spoke with them, and talk about his cool little ad he just came out with and see where that goes. So, guys, we won't take too much of your time tonight. We just wanted to reach out right before the fight. Let us know in the comments who's going to be winning the fight tonight, guys. Let us know. Write the comment. We'll post your comment on the video. All right, Mr. Camarillo, how are you doing tonight?
Good, Isaac. How you doing? How you doing?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Excited about a pretty good fight tonight. It's kind of one of those days that it's a Saturday. You're going to be cooking out with your family right now.
Yep.
Having a little bit of a couple of brews, probably hanging out with family, good people. So we're hoping to reach out those people out there right before the fight. I got to ask you, this is the first question I'm going to ask. Who do you got in tonight's fight?
Shoot, who's fighting again tonight?
It is Tank versus Garcia.
I'm gonna have to go with Garcia, man. He's a pit bull, and he's very strategic, and it's something not to be trifled with. I know Tank's got a lot of power, but Garcia, all the way, man.
And I don't really follow either fighter, but I do see Garcia a lot, and I have seen plenty of videos of him. I've seen a little bit of videos of Tank, not too much of little bit of videos of Tank, plenty of Garcia. Garcia is lightning quick, man. I haven't seen punches like that coming, man. You don't see where they're coming from. And Tank's one of those that you don't want to leave your jaw open, because if he does hit your jaw, it's finished. You're going to sleep. You're going to sleep.
Yeah. Yep. You gotta. I mean, when it comes to power and speed, it's just like Rocky and when in Rocky 3, had to speed up against Clubber Lang, and who knows, man. Sometimes power isn't everything, but hey, if one connect, you got to make sure that punch does not connect, because you're going down.
Absolutely. So, how is the campaign trail going on? It looks really good, man. I saw a video you put out earlier, and we shared it. And the time to take to do something like that is, I think, something we haven't seen here in a while. So that kind of, caught me off guard. Was that something done on your, by yourself, or did you have some help? Because that was pretty impressive there.
Yeah. So there's a website. I have these crazy ideas that come in my head, and I figured, the things that popped into my head was Star Wars and campaign ads. So I'm like, let me look up how I can do a Star Wars scroll. And so I just typed it in Google, and then it took me to this. It's called Castle Labs. So you put it on there. You can edit the scrolls, and you can just put whatever you want on there, and then it'll generate it for you. It's $10, so that, because otherwise it's free. Otherwise, but you got to wait for like 300 days. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna wait 300 days. So I paid $15, and then they send you the link, you download it, and it looks amazing. Like it was pretty cool. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, yeah, kind of cheesy because it's Star Wars, but hey, you know what? I'm a Star Wars fan forever.
Who doesn't Star Star Wars, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah, who doesn't like Star Wars? So it was
you
great.
can be raised in the past three centuries, and Star Wars. I mean, you've seen it or have gone through one of the series. Absolutely, that's one of the timeless classics, I think.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Absolutely. So we're getting close to April 24th, Monday. We're Saturday, 2 days away. It's do or die time.
Hmm.
It's pregame. You're warming up. This is it. How does Ruben Camarillo feel about going into this early election, April 24th on Monday?
Uh, you know what? Before I start, I just want to thank you, Isaac, and the Ruiz Beast Podcast for putting this platform on for everybody. I've seen the other interviews with Sandy and Miss Herrera. They're both rocking interviews. They both brought what they had to the table, and you gave them a chance for that. And I just want to thank you for that. Um, Hopefully, we'll hear from Mr. Lopez one of these days.
Yes,
Um,
that is a work in progress. We will
yeah,
have that candidate as well on our platform. It's just
yeah, looking forward to it.
unfortunate circumstances that do happen.
Yeah,
But he will be on, and he probably will be on before or on the day of early voting. So
yeah, of course.
that.
So yeah, and also thank you to all my supporters. I know you got my back, and I got your back. Anybody that I've talked to, you know that I'm sincere, and you know that I'm willing to make a change, and I'm not going to let you down. So thank you guys, whether you support me in the open or not. I really appreciate it. I love you guys, and I'm doing this for you, and I want to succeed. Going to the question, it's been interesting, man. It's been interesting. It's been rough. A lot of heartbreaks, a lot of disappointments, but on the other hand, a lot of excitement, a lot of emotion. I know that you've seen my posts and you know calling people out and making bonehead mistakes. Having to apologize publicly. You know what? That's politics, man, and that's something that I don't regret. Um, it's I tell everybody that I'm going to knock on your door if I know it. Not this is hypothetical, but when people don't want to hear me out, especially when it comes to our public servants, if I'm knocking on your door and I know you're home, I'm going to bang on the door, okay? And if you're still not going to not answer the door when I know you're home, I'm going to accidentally kick down your door, and if I do, I'm sorry, I apologize. But you know what? I've said this before, everybody starts with an A in my book. I've always supported our leadership until they started shutting me out. So you don't have to be afraid to talk to me. I'm a candidate. I'm not there to try to take everybody down or record, because I keep getting asked, are you recording me? Are you recording me? No. Here's my phone. I'm not gonna say who, because I don't want to put them on blast, because I've been putting people on blast this whole time. So I'm gonna let this one slide. But yeah, I think 2 city council members have asked me, "Are you recording me?" And I'm like, no. So, and that's disappointing. That's heartbreaking, because that's just like, you had a good relationship professionally with your city council, and then you choose to do something that people don't really do very often, that's run for office, and then all of a sudden you get shut out. You don't get texts back. um, you know I was a big I like to say I'm still a big supporter of Monica Cruz, but she was, when I first met her, she was really uh, good at helping me. I remember when I first met her, it was to try to get speed bumps in my neighborhood, and she was on it. She was texting me. She was saying, we'll get the chief of police down there. We'll get the city manager. I'll send some emails. I got you. We're gonna get this done. We're gonna help. And I started running. Complete silence.
Oh,
Mute.
wow.
I'll text, and at that point, if I text you more than twice and you don't answer, I'm not gonna look like the crazy person. All right, I'm gonna stop. I'm not even gonna text you anymore. That's it. So it says a lot, and that's how the campaign trail has gone so far. It's just having to talk to people and try to figure out if they're really legitimately trying to help you, or and I'm not asking for handouts or endorsements. Just talk to me. If are you afraid to get seen with me in public? That's normally the case,
So I mean, let me see if I'm understanding this correctly. It kind of sounds like you're feeling that you're kind of ostracized, like being separated, isolated from whatever else everybody else is kind of doing. Is that
absolutely.
accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I'm not asking for favors. I'm not asking to be buddies with the city council. They were people I believed in, that I believe that they can help this community. It's not like they've never helped the community. I'm not going to discredit them, but when you run for, I guess people can tell me, well, that's politics. But everybody should be treated the same. That's how my aspect of my campaign kind of changed. I was that person that didn't want to rock the boat, didn't want to piss anybody off. Just run a smooth campaign and talk to people, put my platform out, and let's see what happens. That's not the case. I'm gonna say this. I'm not taking anything personal. It's not personal when it comes to me. When it comes to either calling me names or attacking my wife or anything like that.
Has that happened?
You know what? I yes, not by city council, but by by my opponent's awesome, exciting campaign manager, who decided to start attacking my wife just because she said, "I don't like Taco Palenque," and put a throw up emoji. So when you attack my wife and you go after my family, that really says a lot. And
I couldn't.
again, if you want to come after me, but don't attack my family. Don't that's not cool. I don't hold grudges. I'm easy to forgive, but have some class.
Yeah. I guess maybe I should have warned you. They come after families like that around here.
Yeah, I think it's pathetic. It's very pathetic, especially when they don't have anything on. It's like being in second grade, when you're getting outclassed in an argument, and then all of a sudden you resort to fat mama jokes. All of a sudden, well, your mom's fat. It's pathetic. And they know I have a lot to bring to the table. They know that I'll stand my ground, and they know that if they're going to be flies, I'm going to swat them. But the only problem is that when I swat them, they're like little grenades, and shrapnel goes everywhere, and it's just hitting the people around me. So I keep making promises to my wife. She says, "Stop, don't mess with them anymore." I said, "Okay, I'm not going to say anything." But when I see something wrong and you're trying to fool the public, I'm going to call it out.
It's tough, yeah.
Yeah, I take offense to that. You're fooling you're messing with my community.
And you know what? I want to go ahead, since you brought up that topic. One of the hot things coming in also into this election, not only do we have 2 seats for the city council up for grabs virtually, right? There is also an ordinance that is being voted on for the community. I would say estimate about no more than 20% of the community might even know about one. And I would say, who we don't know what kind of numbers, but given the historical data, it's going to be low voter turnout, because that's what you can't expect anything else until you see it, here in Eagle Pass, unfortunately.
Right.
And this ordinance is going to be passed. Proposed right now. And virtually what the wording is, and it's upsetting the way you say it, because there was a councilman, and I'll mention it was a Councilman Billy Davis that came out, and you can see the video, and I have the video, and we'll be putting it out soon.
I saw the video.
early voting. Yeah. So okay, so you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
I know what you're talking about. I saw
And then
that.
where he says they're kind of just cleaning up an ordinance. And if you take a look at the difference of the ordinances, it wasn't a cleanup, it was a revision.
Right.
Now, a revision that I feel, and I think many others, is kind of loose leaf, uh, not very secure. So you can be 8 years a city councilman, jump up to mayor, and then from there, there's no definition of what you can do from there. I mean, there really isn't. And you know, we saw the last mayoral race, and attorneys had to get involved. And that's a field day. A general statement type of ordinance like that is literally a field day, because you can argue any. I mean, there's not even two sides to argue. You can multiple sides to argue through what they put out there.
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you agree? How are you going to be voting for the ordinance that is the proposition that's being passed?
Well, I can give you two things here. One, what's the reason why you gotta not limit the terms of the mayor? Doesn't that kind of? I mean, not only do they not give a reason, but they kind of wishy washy it. They, and I respect Councilman Davis only because he's gone and shaken my hand and he remembers my son's name and stuff. Total respect. But when it comes to publicly telling the community, this isn't a change. This is just so people can clearly or know what this is clearly. How bad do you take this community for fools? If you're gonna have a reason to do something, just say it. Don't try to fool the community. This is something that we're voting on. We're voting on whether we're going to give the mayor more or a longer extension. Correct? Is that what that is? Mm-hmm. And then of course you're cutting you're cutting the years from the city council members or the terms, but what's the reason? I don't understand it, and I think the community really needs to do some research on this, because and you can agree on this. Here's the plan. They're going to come in. They're not going to know what it is. They're going to read it and they're going to be, oh, okay, well, and put yes or no, or not vote in it at all. So, guys, if you guys see this, I'm going to vote no. I think there's no reason to give the mayor or whoever is mayor, it doesn't matter who it is, more term or longer term. There's just no need for that. Why?
Yeah, and it I mean, I know it stems from the issue that from the last mayor election, where there was an issue where former mayor Luis Fuentes got told he wasn't going to be allowed to run based on the interpretation of the existing ordinance. So he's successful. Well, I really don't know what the result was. I think they got a stay or something, and he was allowed. How things take years in the court system. Yeah. So he was allowed to run. It'll get decided later on. He ended up losing anyways, convincingly. But taking that into effect and everything, I mean, that's where it came from. So now it wasn't a thing that they improved or secured in any way or even explained it. Yeah. To me, it sounds a lot more vague whenever you see the side-by-side copy of it. And then you're kind of leaving it open-ended to where, like I said, I mean, you can stay there pretty much as long as you want. That's the way I read it. I mean, I'm not the only one that reads it like that.
No. If anybody talks to Sandy, who's running for place one, she's done some homework on it. She's actually brought it to my attention because I didn't even know until she said, "Hey, look at the sample ballots. Are you looking at your sample ballots? Look what's going on here for this proposal." And I looked at it, and I honestly did not understand it. And she because she's got a lot of experience with this kind of stuff, and she made it clear to me. I was like, wow, if I'm bamboozled about it, imagine how many folks around here are gonna not know what the hell it is. So that's just not cool. You should be really, if you're really putting this on the table, you really need to tell. I'm not saying they're lying about it, but you really need to make an effort to make this clear and show the people that you're trying to educate them on this, because this is big. It's big, and they know that. So for Councilman Davis to just say, nothing's changing. It's just something to let the people know that it's just a refresher, to refresh everyone's memory. How is that? We're voting on it. We got to fill in the bubble. This isn't a reminder. So, I'm baffled, Isaac. And that's the reason why people like me, like people like Sandy, like people like Miss Herrera, people like Mr. Lopez are running to try to make a difference. We have to let people know that we have something to bring to the table. Okay, and we're fighting against the machine. And I can safely say that because going back to the question how this campaign is going, man, it really sucks that you have to become a candidate to have this big eye opener on what's going on and how blatantly obvious they do it. They just here it is. You guys can't do nothing about it. But again, that falls with people going out to vote. And I've seen some of your interviews. I've seen your podcast and your broadcasts and stuff, and I see people who respond, and I see a lot of, well, this is why we don't vote. There's no hope. That's guys. That's where they want you to be. They like you right there, where you're sitting at home and you don't give a damn about what goes on because you guys lost hope. All right. This hasn't happened in a while. 3 regular people who want to make a difference. I'm not sure of any of the other past candidates, but to me, or from what I'm being told, from what the people are telling me, that this is something that hasn't really happened in a while. People just regular Joe Schmoes, going up to run against the machine, and it's hard. It's tough because, again, it has to do with fear. And I'm going to mention the school district, just like Miss Herrera did. People, if you have a kid who's a star pitcher in the Eagle Pass high school team and you go against the machine, guess what's going to happen? Your kid's probably going to get benched. Or if you work at the school at the school district, which I've been getting phone calls, anonymous phone calls, saying that, hey, I don't want to lose my job. I'm not going to tell you where I work, but I just want to let you know that, I support you. I love your ideals, and it made me sad. It made me happy, but sad at the same time. People afraid to even tell you their names because they're afraid they're going to get repercussions. And that's something I desperately want to change for you guys. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm not doing it for me, because at the end of the day, if I lose, I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going to go to school, take care of my kid, take care of my wife, and life is going to move on for me. But the rest of the community, I can't say the same for. It's just going to be the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, recently, I know you mentioned the topic. We'll bring it up. The Facebook post. Any word you want to bring that? I have to. Bring it up.
Dude. It's no filter, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. So see, and I don't expect everybody to be perfect, right? We all know we make mistakes. If I had $1 for every time I put something out there and like, oh shit, I'd have about $5 or $6, right? But I mean, mistakes happen, right? And it wasn't anything where I don't think it was slanderous type of way or anything, or not even an offensive way. It was just oops, I mean, it happens. And we saw the response that happened, and in my point of view, it was unfortunate the way it was. I'd like to see how I mean, we saw that the apology that you got afterwards, anything like that. Has there been any anything else? Because any kind of reach out, anything like that?
Well, I did see the mayor at Earth Day today, and he pulled me aside and said, "Hey, Ruben, can I have 30 seconds really quick?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And he apologized. He apologized, shook my hand, said, "I'm sorry, for what I said." He says, "I didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to offend you or anything. And I know it was an emotional moment. It was something that you see that's potentially dangerous to your reputation." Okay, and I understand. Yeah, it was a bonehead mistake on my part, and everybody makes them. But I quickly took it down. I put an apology out. I put the description of what it was for, and that's it. We move on, and I have a lot of respect for the mayor for doing that. However, it probably would have been, I don't know how it would have been if he would have done it publicly, but that's okay. I'm not going to ask for more. I don't beg for apologies. Hey, I'll take it. That's fine. But that's just goes to show you that a lot of people are afraid to make our government mad, and that shouldn't be that way. I saw something that I didn't like. By everything that's been happening lately, all the experiences that I've had, that was the icing on the cake. It made sense. I searched Facebook trying to find another Rolando Salinas and didn't see anything. So there you go, guys. That's my lack of research. And I said, okay. I pulled the trigger and shot myself in the foot. It happens.
Hold on. So you say you just searched Facebook and you didn't search anything else?
No, well, I searched Facebook. I Googled it.
That's actually what some news media does down here. That's the sort of thing. I had a news article done about me once, and that's all it was about my Facebook page.
Well, I did Facebook. I Googled a little bit, and again, that's all part of the mistake, is not doing the right research. And again, that's I apologized, and I apologize to my supporters. I've seen a lot of comments. I've seen some comments saying, "Oh, well, Camarillo needs to just accept the fact that he just wants to blast politicians." That's not my angle. I don't. Like I said, I've reached out publicly to some city council members and the mayor, and nobody bothered to send me a message. Nobody bothered to say, "Hey, Ruben, let's talk about this. What's going on? Why are you?" Why are you saying that we need a debate, or why do you feel bad that that you're not getting a debate, something like that. I've mentioned them twice, and I just get ignored. So when I get ignored, I'm gonna make noise so you can hear me. And as far as this is concerned, it wasn't a way to just try to get attention. It was something I saw that I thought was, it all made sense. All of a sudden I look and there's the first name, Rolando Salinas, and it made sense at the time. Nobody was talking to me. And again, bonehead mistake, but I'm not perfect. So I apologized for it, took it down, and it's time to move on.
Awesome. So one of the things that I'm not sure if we've covered exactly, and I'm not necessarily speaking party terms. We're not talking about party.
Right.
What is Ruben Camarillo's values as a city councilman? Should you win, what kind of values do we expect from Ruben Camarillo coming in?
Let's see, values. Definitely giving the voice to the people. That's a freedom that God has given. God has always been my values. The Constitution has been my values. That's what makes this country, is the Constitution. And whether you're liberal or conservative, that's something that we should all respect. And even if you're, I mean, this is bipartisan. What is me saying that I love the Constitution? Oh, you're a Republican. Okay, sure, go ahead. But those are my values, and it's not going to have a huge effect on whether I want to whether I want to repair the roads, or help somebody in need, or balance the budget. That's my values are for me, and I'm not going to be forcing it on anybody. So don't be afraid of me. And that brings me to the topic, and I'll bring it up. So I got sharp shot by our lovely Democratic chair, Juanita Martinez, and it was at the it was
Now it's getting interesting. Okay.
It was at the commissioners court meeting that happened recently. I was there advocating for the veterans. I was there with our district commander for the VFW, and I spoke. I accidentally tripped her because she sat right next to me, and she had to come through because she was going to be the first one to speak at the communications meeting, and she trips, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you did that on purpose because you're a Republican," all loud.
Oh wow, she said.
And then it was like, "I assure you, I did not trip you on purpose." And she kind of laughed and said, "I'm just kidding." Blah blah blah. Okay, that was a little awkward, but I know what her MO is. The bad thing about here in this town, it's easy to do your homework on people, but people don't really have anything to do on me because I'm new here. I wasn't born here. I wasn't raised here. But people don't think that I don't do my homework on them. And right away, when Miss Juanita had tapped me on the shoulder, I already knew what was coming. She asked me, "Are you a proud Republican?" And I said, I have conservative values, yes. What's the point? So why don't you have Republican on your pamphlets or on your push cards? I said, "Ma'am, I'm for everybody. I'm not running under a Republican ticket. I'm running nonpartisan. I'm not, that it's state law. I can't put that I'm a Republican on there." And
which is it's city council, right? It's different than it would be in the county, because in the county you do declare a party,
yes,
but city council does not, and that's with everybody
right.
there. That's no one's ever declared any party.
Right, you can't. I mean, you can go down the line. Look at Mayor Cifuentes, Mayor Ramsey. They all. I don't. When you look back in the history, I don't remember them all running for under a Republican or Democratic ticket. So it's nonpartisan. So I mentioned that, and she's like, "Well, you do know that this is a Republican or no, this is a Democratic county and a Democratic town. You know that, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I know that. Okay." I stood as professional as possible because I already know where this is going at. She's trying to either try to get me to lie about what my values are, or try to say that I'm ashamed of my values, and then trying to point out that being conservative is the devil in this town. So I calmly just said, "Ma'am, I'm going to say this again. I'm for everybody. My values are not going to dictate how I lead this city. I'm here for everybody. Even if the people that are trying to destroy me, I'll help them out too. That's what Jesus would do. That's my value." And you know what? It's whether you're a Democrat or Republican. That's the problem out here. Is if someone's a Republican, they're like, "No, I'm not helping you. You're a Republican. Bye. Get away." Same thing. It could be same thing with some Republicans.
There's a big stigma here. I mean, I can vouch for that since I was little. I mean, all I knew was Democrat growing up, and I think that many my age, and I'm a millennial growing up here in Eagle Pass. All of us, we didn't know anything else. If we were gonna go vote, that's what we were gonna go vote for. Until you reach a level where you start doing your own research and getting to a point where my values do not no longer align with what a party does, that's when I think that people need to make their own change, because I understand, and that's how it is here growing up. And I think it's not just here. I think it's in general. Growing up, you get these values that are bestowed upon you by first and foremost your parents, and then second your family. Their your aunts, uncles, cousins. What the your circle.
Yeah.
Your circle that you grow up with, and most of the time people will go their entire lifetimes and never question their upbringing, or what they were taught when they were young. That's just what they know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they will defend it till, I mean, like if there's no other wrong. I mean, like if their thing cannot be wrong and right. And I'm not saying either party is right or wrong, because I think that I myself, I find it hard to just say that I'm one or the other, because I mean, I see both sides, I think, need to be cleaned out, to be honest.
No, that's true.
And I'm just being straight up. But values, and then that's why I asked you about values, because I think values are what, of course, define a person, right? And your values are supposed to change from what the values your parents get, because you get two set of values, because of course, they're never similar. So you get that together. And for a lot of us, it's kind of the way they bring it up nowadays, the phrase they like to say, escaping the matrix, right? That you're programmed into. And I can definitely relate myself in that, in saying that, I have recent, and I think a lot of people did. It was kind of a nationwide, or even maybe a global awakening type, whenever this COVID thing happened, and a lot of things that popped out of that weren't things that were told to us. It was just
human nature.
And we're still confused about it till this day.
Yeah.
And we know that it did cause, deaths. We know that it caused many people mental illness, stress, mental health issues, and I still don't think we have recovered from that yet.
No.
And it may not even be in the near future, because that was a pretty big impact for all of us, right?
Oh, yeah, big time.
A lot of people, and I say this over and over again, is that they fail to see that as Hispanics, as we grow up, we're taught conservative values from both our moms and our dad.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me. And I came to that realization where, conservative is how I was brought up. Mijo, do this, do that, do this, do that. And that is what aligns. And I'm not saying what's right or wrong with what a lot of people try to tell you out there in the media, or even here locally. They try to say you're wrong because you think this way.
Right.
And that's the cloud that Eagle Pass has been living on. That's why people don't say anything. That's why people rather would stay quiet. And it's an exciting time right now, I think. I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, definitely, that some people are starting to come out and not throw those random compro y vendo posts, because what do those do? I mean, they get everybody riled up for one day, and then after that, and that's it.
Yeah, we move on.
Exactly. But now people are starting to gather. People are starting to express themselves freely, which after a while, I thought I was going crazy, being the only one thinking that we should be able to do this without any repercussions, because I mean, we're out here stating our opinions. I'm a big believer of, I'm not always trying to say that I'm right or I'm wrong. My truth is the experience that from what I have seen. And that experience is not the same for Mr. Ruben Camarillo, but I think we do have commonalities in that we want what's best for our community. And I think you get uh, isolated. You get told this person's crazy. They say this person's not right, or don't listen to them. They're just lying.
Right.
And you know, if people don't realize that the show is going on, again, I'll say it because that's a popular term right now, the Matrix, because that's what it is. It's a programming that they are feeding us, that they have been feeding us.
Right.
And people
Yeah.
play into it because they have no other choice but to play into it.
Yeah. And, when Sandy decided to run, she's a good friend of mine and we have a good professional relationship. But when she ran, she was the first person to get front page of the Gram. and when I showed it to her, I said, "Look, you're on the front page." And she said, "Yeah, I know. They tried to call me and I just hadn't got back to them yet." But they didn't even wait for her to give permission. They grabbed a random picture out of Facebook, slapped her on it, and that's and it wasn't positive. It was saying, "Hey guys, Republicans running for office, watch out." I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what the media says or how they want to interpret it. That's what happened. You guys slapped her picture on there and to say, "Hey guys, watch out for this lady," instead of saying some good things. Saying, "Hey, Sandy Sassano is running. She's a Republican chair. Good luck," with something. Even if you don't agree with it, don't be biased. And that just brings me to the topic of, again, like we were discussing, having the freedom to express what you believe in. I just want everybody to know that my values are what make me happy. Okay, I get along with everybody just fine. Here's the kicker. Yes, Latinos do teach conservatism in their families. I was taught in a conservative way in my family, but guess what? My mom is a hardcore liberal. She and we used to we'd go at it every now and then just because we like to make each other mad. I tell my mom, "Hey, you taught me this, and now you're doing this. Like, what's going on?" And people's views change, and you just have to respect that. I mean, she's my mom. I'm not gonna not talk to my mother anymore because she supports one way and I support the other. And the same should go for the community. Everybody needs to unite. And people tell me, "Ruben, you're crazy. You're not gonna get to these people. You're not gonna change. People aren't gonna change their ways, and they're already set. And if you keep trying to do this, it's just gonna go for nothing." I don't believe that. I believe this community can really do something great, unite, and love each other. If you work if you have a small business and you have a Republican I shouldn't say Republican because Republicans are actual politicians. Let's just say somebody with conservative values, all right? And what are you gonna do? Fire them because they're conservative? That's what goes on around here, and that shouldn't be. Or you don't like somebody. Let's just say I don't like. Let's just say I don't like the mayor, and then someone fires me for that because the mayor is their best friend. It's just hypothetical for those who are watching. I'm not saying that's what's happened, but that's what goes on. And it's very sad. And again, going back to how this campaign is going, it's been sad. It's been disappointing, but it just fuels me more to just keep fighting, to keep doing what I'm doing for this community. I'm not just blasting politicians because I feel like it. I can do that anytime. I don't have to run to blast politicians. Hell, if I wanted to do that, I wouldn't even run. I can just sit here and have fun and just blast everybody. But I'm not. I'm trying to make a difference. I'm trying to just call out things that I see that's wrong.
Yeah.
And that's just proof that I'm going to do that when elected. And I honestly think, of course, people don't like that. The whoever's in office probably doesn't like that, and I feel like I'm getting pushed out. I feel like they're trying to push me out, and I'm putting up one hell of a fight.
Now, I mean, you have your race is interesting because I think you have four, right? Which is a crowded race. Um, so if I would put any kind of prediction to this one, um, there's going to be a runoff.
Oh yeah,
That's what it looks like. Um,
yeah.
and moving forward with that runoff, has there been any coordination with any of the candidates thinking, with Mr. Garcia, Miss Herrera, of any kind of concessions being done if one of y'all don't make it to the final two, to the runoff? Is there any kind of discussions of that being made on your behalf? And the reason why I ask is that, and it's an old pastime tactic, I guess, if you want to say, where they dilute the votes, try to get a runoff, and get things done that way. Now, it happens not every single time, but it is a tactic, and you have four people running in this race. It's crowded. So, how do you feel about that? And are you confident that you would be one of those members getting into that runoff?
Absolutely. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm working my ass off. I'm pounding the pavement. It's just me and my wife. We don't have a team. I know that Miss Herrera and Mr. Lopez don't have a huge team, but if anybody who's seen my Facebook posts and my loudness, and I'm working my ass off. I don't see why I wouldn't make the runoff. But Isaac, I'm going to publicly say this right now, and if they're listening, guys, Miss Herrera, Mr. Lopez, if I don't make it to the runoff, you guys got my support. Whoever makes it, all right, I'll support you, and I'll blast it out there and say, hey, let's support this candidate, because those are candidates who are legit, and those are the ones who want to make a change. I've reached out to both of them. I've spoken to Mr. Lopez. He seems very legitimate, like he wants to make a change. I reached out to Miss Herrera. She's got. I mean, I've seen the interview. I mean, she hit some good points, and she's pretty much said everything that needs to be said.
Mm-hmm.
So I publicly say that, and you know what? I'll support Sandy too. I think Sandy's for a good change. She has the same ideals for me. I'm not afraid to say that. I know people are like, oh, well, they're just in league because they're both conservatives. No, absolutely not. This has nothing to do with that. This isn't a political agenda. We all have the same ideals. We all have the same ideas. We're all pretty much similar. So why not? Why can't I give support? Everybody. I mean, you see Billy Davis and Mr. Garcia are like two peas in a pod running together. Why not? That's blatantly obvious. So yeah, that's my public statement on that.
Awesome.
And if they're not willing to do the same, hey, that's okay. I'm not going to say that they're.
Well, what I was going to say is that I'd be interested in getting, since we have interviewed Miss Herrera on there, it'd be interesting. I know that there's been debate challenges thrown out, but no acceptance. There hasn't been any acceptance, right?
No. I mean, we all know who the person I've been challenging the most is, and I'm not going to keep saying his name because I've said it plenty of times. But that shows.
You are open for a discussion with any of the candidates or anything like that. I guess it doesn't have to be in a debate setting, but discussion type.
Oh, absolutely. If Miss Herrera is watching, if Mr. Lopez, I don't think he's watching. I don't know if he has a Facebook that was like expired 10 years ago, so I don't know. But if he is somehow watching this, then yeah, I would love to have a discussion with all of them. Those are the ones who were willing to talk to me. They weren't awkward about it. I can't. There's no way I can say, "Hey, Commissioner Davis, you want to do a discussion?" how do you think that's going to end up? You know, so
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to get a discussion with Mr. Garcia because I've challenged him many times to debate, and you know, no word from that. Just saying that he doesn't want to waste his time, which that's okay. You know, that just shows that uh, I'm the better person. I mean, it's not the way I want to win, but it shows a lot. And if people don't notice that, hey, it is what it is. You know, I'm putting myself out there. Uh, Putting yourself out there is not easy. You know, you can get the attention that you want, you can get the attention that you don't want.
Oh yeah.
So, and I've been getting a lot of attention that I do and don't, but I'm not afraid of it. You know, I'm not afraid of the negative attention. I knew from the start when I first started running that if I start calling out the issues, because that's what you got to do when you're running for office, you got to point out the issues. You can't just say, well, everything's good. You know.
Well, I think nobody would be wanting to run if everything is good, right?
You're right. Yeah.
The whole thing, I mean, if everything was good, then, leave the same people that are there. But that's the reason why you have right now, a race with 4 and another race with 3. So people are interested in wanting to, something's not, there. Something's wrong. Something's up, and people want to fix it.
Yeah, and that's why I call it out. You know, when I first called out Mr. Garcia, I said, "Hey, sir, I don't know what you're all about. Like, you haven't really posted anything. Let's have a debate. I want to see what you got." You know, and nothing. I just get his little minion. But that's about it. And you know what? I've said this before. I don't hate Mr. Garcia. I have nothing against the man. I don't dislike him. I've never even met him. I shook his hand once, and that was at the meeting a couple of days ago. You know, it's politics. And you know what? If it seems very fishy to me, I'm gonna call you out. Like, you don't see me calling out Miss Herrera because there's really nothing to call her out on. She just pretty much blatantly said everything she needed to say on the last interview. You know, she's open to a discussion. I reached out to her and she said that she would love to have a discussion on the podcast. I think that's something we should, I mean, if it's possible, no pressure.
I would like that. I would like that if not sometime tomorrow on early voting day, start of early voting. I think, or maybe after the first day or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be a very interesting, and I think that would bring a lot of eyes to see to be able to distinguish the two candidates. And and I will say this because it takes a little bit, to come up there and then want to see your opponent, wanting to talk to him, this, and that. I had an insider from that was there at the last attempted, debate, and there was just so much, there was so much wrapped up into that thing where it was just, it was nonsense. And there were softball questions. Of course, you do have to do a little bit of softball questions, but there wasn't any kind of nitpicking or anything like that. So it's a little tough. I guess I got used to the debates with President Trump in there. So everything else,
those are interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah. But I know it's we're getting close to our hour, and the fight's right around the corner. A lot of us wanna tune in. What last message do you want to leave our voters here Saturday night? They're probably grilling right now, having a good time with their families. What's Mr. Ruben Camarillo need to let them know Saturday night before?
Guys, enjoy the fight. Enjoy some good company. Get ready for the voting day, and you know what? Don't be scared to voice your opinions, man. I understand why people fear to voice their opinions. I get it. I've had to actually be careful with events that I sponsor, especially when the city's present. And, I've talked to the city about it. They were cool about it. But, when I'm sponsoring something with my own money and I'm being told that I can't have my political sign up, it's kind of, but I don't want to make trouble for anybody. I don't want to pull someone's support because I was being a loudmouth and going and complaining. No, I called the city and I said, I'm fine with it. Just make sure you tell me what other rules that I need to know so I don't break them and get get the people I'm sponsoring in trouble. That's the message I have for my small businesses, guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. You know what? I really love you guys and I'm here for you. I know, I get it. I did my homework and I'm experiencing it right now, what this town goes through. I'm taking it all in. So just understand I'm here for you guys. And I know that you've seen me be loud and call out everything. That's what somebody in office should do. Okay. When you run for office, again, like we just said, you got to address the issues. You can't just be like, well, everything's great, but I just want to run. Something's got to, and I'm going to be straightforward before I let you guys go. I just hate I'm sorry, not hate. I just find it very, very suspicious when, I've put out my platform to you guys this whole time since day one, and then all of a sudden now the other two are for public safety. All of a sudden my opponent gets the endorsement for the fire department, and I'm not going to go into that too much. Hey, a loss is a loss. It is what it is. But I still support my fire department. I still support my police department. You guys know that I've been here since day one. All right. Look at my Facebook. Look at everything that I've been putting out. I don't need to say anymore after that. So enjoy the fight, guys. Get ready for voting, early voting on Monday, all the way to May 2nd.
Can you give us the dates on that?
Yeah. So this Monday, it's going to start April 24th. It goes all the way to May 2nd, and then we take a break for a week, and then Election Day is May 6th. So that's the last day to get you guys' votes in, and then we'll know who wins on that day. So wish me luck, guys, and please get out there and vote, man. I've seen those comments. I've seen those the hope loss. Like, I need you guys to pump me up, and I need to know that you guys are out there. All right. I've had people honk at me while I'm putting their signs up. That just makes my day. Okay. Just, guys, nobody's going to know who you're voting for. All right. Not me, not the candidates, unless someone's right behind your back. It's your vote, man. So don't be afraid to come out and vote. Okay. You don't have to wear a t-shirt that says my name on it. You don't even have to come shake my hand or come see me. You guys know what to do. You have the power. Use it.
All right. Well, this is Mr. Ruben Camarillo. He is running for Eagle Pass City Council, place 3, guys. So early voting starts April 24th. So last question of the day. So I think we already said Davis versus Garcia. You said Garcia. How's it going to be? What round? KO? TKO? Does it go the distance?
I think it's...
You know Garcia already. Is he knocking him out or is it going the distance?
Man, I don't know. I think it's going to go the distance, man. I think so.
Right. Guys, you heard it. Mr. Ruben Camarillo, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You enjoy the fight, sir.
All right. You too, Isaac. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys voting day.
Have a
All
good
right.
one.
You too. Take care.
Take care. All right, guys. Ruiz Beast Podcast brings you another interview from a candidate that is running for Eagle Pass City Council. April 24th, early voting starts. You heard him say the date. Guys, be sure to get out and vote. You like to go early voting? Go do early voting. You like to vote the last day, which I wouldn't recommend, but go ahead and go May 6th, which would be the election day, guys. Get out there and vote. It's very important. You shouldn't be complaining unless you're going out and vote. A lot of us complain. But let's go out there and vote. Instead of complaining, make a difference. It's for your community, guys. I appreciate y'all jumping on. Enjoy the fight. For those of you wondering, I got Garcia in the 10th round KO. All right. You guys got that? Drop yours in the comments if you want to know. But I got Garcia in the 10th, knocking out Davis, guys. So it's going to be a good one. And hope you enjoy it. It's probably going to start pretty soon if it hasn't already started. So enjoy the fight. Have a nice night. Thank you for joining us on Saturday. Please be safe. We know you're consuming some alcohol. You need a driver. Please get a driver, guys. Be safe. Those streets can be dangerous after drinking a couple of drinks. Enjoy. Have a nice night. I hope you guys spend it with your family. We'll see you next podcast.